है हर पिंजरा, मेरी उड़ान अभी बाकी है, मंजिलें ज़मीं पर नहीं, आसमान अभी बाकी है।
लहरों का थमना नहीं समंदर की बेबसी, लहरों का थमना नहीं समंदर की बेबसी, बाहर खामोशी सही, भीतर कहीं तूफान अभी बाकी है,
भीतर कहीं तूफान अभी बाकी है। हेलो, गुड नून, आई विशाल खिमनानी
and I, Akshay Shah, as your master of ceremony, are here before you to take you through the most important technical session for succeeding in the professional life.
How is it the most important technical session, Akshay?
Vishal, you know Warren Buffett, one of the most richest person of the world, has once said, in looking for a people to hire, look for three qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. And if they don't have the first, others too will kill you.
So, Akshay, you want to say that integrity is the most important quality if you want to become successful financial professional?
Okay. I would like to request CA Anjali Choksi ma'am, chairperson of Ahmedabad branch of ICAI, CA Sunil Sanghvi sir, vice chairperson of Ahmedabad branch of ICAI, Shaivi Shah, joint secretary of WICASA Ahmedabad, and paper presenter Miss Dishaa Balani, Navya Mital, Vidisha, Dhruv Agrawal, and Asma Taj to come on the stage. I would also like to welcome our jury for the session, CA Dr. Fenil Shah sir and CA Niren Nagri sir. I would like to request CA Anjali Choksi ma'am for his introductory remarks.
Welcome to the first technical session of the day. I'm sure yesterday's learning lessons from the Honorable Governor and today Gyan Vatsal Swami will be etched in our memories forever. This is one of the important technical sessions, and both the speakers have imbibed that integrity and ethics are at the core of our profession. So taking it ahead, I once again welcome all the paper presenters, my two esteemed juries, CA Niren Nagri and CA Fenil Shah, and all the members from paper presenters from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. And let's start the technical session. I wish all the paper presenters all the very best. Thank you.
Hey Akshay, have you heard about the new accounting automated software that can make entire financial statement with audit report within 30 minutes? It will reduce our work and also get us to help from leave from the office.
Really? That sounds very interesting. But is it very ethical? We need to keep in mind our responsibility regarding integrity of financial reporting.
Come on Akshay, it's all about efficiency. Let's not resist progress.
Efficiency is a crucial, Vishal. But in the fast-changing world, to future-proof our success, we need to adopt the technology. But in the adoption of technology, we need to keep in mind integrity and ethics at a aim.
I need to learn optimal utilization of technology with integrity and ethics.
By you and we all CA students need to learn the same. And that's why we have kept this session. Now, let's welcome all the paper presenters. तो अब देरी किस बात की, चलो शुरू करते हैं. द शो टू लर्न द आर्ट ऑफ बैलेंसिंग बिटवीन टेक्नोलॉजी, ग्रोथ, इंटीग्रिटी एंड एथिक्स.
Stating the rules for presentation. Time limit within which paper presentation should be completed is 10 minutes. After 8 minutes, warning bell will ring, and after 10 minutes, final bell will ring. To guide us through the same, let's welcome our first captain, Miss Dishaa Balani.
आचारः फलते धर्मम्, आचारः फलते धनम्, आचारात् श्रियाम् आपनोति, आचारो हन्त्य लक्षणम्. अर्थात ethics make work successful, ethics give prosperous fruits, ethics give wealth to a man, and ethics destroy inauspicious symptoms. Namaste, good morning everyone, respected dignitaries on and off the dais. all the members, my fellow paper presenters, and all my dear friends. Hi, I am Dishaa Balani. Before leading to my topic, let me narrate you a small story. Story of Emily. Emily was a small business owner who owned a little cozy cafe. She loved to manage her own accounts. She loved to track her own expenses by her own self. But let's be real, that's a bit of a headache, isn't it? So, researching, she found out that there was a software designed specially for the small businesses like hers. So, she implemented the software. She was very curious about that, and to her very great notice, the software made her work so easy, simplified all the bookkeeping tasks, and streamlined all the processes. But as she was embracing the technology, she came through a nitty-gritty details. She wondered about them. What happens if glitches occur in such system? Is her data safe on that cloud? And unintentionally, is she sacrificing the personal touch of maintaining the records at the convenience of technology? My friends, Emily isn't alone in her journey. This is not a future scenario. In the world where small businesses get digital, this is a discussion that should be done every day. Are we into this ethical system? So this leads me to my today's topic, technology and ethical implications of accounting. When I talk about technological advancements, there's not one, not two, not three, but a plethora of advancements taking in the accounting. The first one being AI. AI is not just for sci-fi movies, but it helps a lot in the accounting processes. It just forecasts data with utmost accuracy. Take an example, QuickBooks. It uses AI to track expenses at a very easier cost, accuracy with less time. Next, big data. Big data helps a lot to analyze a lot of information by identifying patterns and insights and helps us to make informed decisions. Cloud computing. Your financial data as an accountant is available just at one click away. You're at home, you're at cafe, just one smartphone. Wherever you are, your workspace is present. Blockchain technology, how can we forget how secure and transparent it integrates the data, how secure it keeps it. The visualization tools. Gone are the days when your presentations were boring and informative. Visualization tools like Power BI and Tableau make your data into dynamic charts and make your presentations informative as well as visually appealing. Technology has revolutionized how accounting processes are done. They have become more accurate, reliable, and efficient. How financial data is collected, analyzed, and processed is totally changed. Talking about the future of digital accounting, technology, my friends, will not replace, rather support accountants. Support to provide values, support to evolve in the skills, and support to present data. But. When we appreciate the developments of technology, let's not forget that every privilege brings some costs. Costs? Yes, costs and challenges like cybersecurity, integration, education, and whatnot. But it's all about how we perceive. How we perceive it is an opportunity or a threat. There's when ethics come into picture. How? Why? Why is digital ethics so important? Firstly, you and all of us, as investors and stakeholders, invest into certain companies and expect the financial records to be trustworthy, credible, and transparent. Investor confidence is not just built with the accurate numbers, but also it is a testament of their transparency. Legal compliance. Legal compliances are just like the rules on the roads. They're not obstacles, they're meant to maintain. Legal compliances in the finance are meant to operate and maintain the financial landscape in a better way. Confidentiality and privacy is one of the very crucial aspects that is to be taken care by digital ethics. Cybersecurity vigilant watchmen take care that the data is not breached by any unauthorized user. And lastly, fintech disruptions. As fintech is disrupting the entire industry, digital ethics take care that along with innovation technology, ethics and transparency, integrity are taken care of. Now, we have all learned the ethical dimensions of accounting, which include principles like integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, which are the key sources of these accounting where digitalization is done. But when we navigate through this journey of ethics, the people go through a lot of challenges and dilemmas. First, earnings management, where data is manipulated in a way that short-term gains are being shown. At most overly positive view of the finances is being shown rather than what it actually is. For example, crash diets आपको immediate weight loss promise करते हैं, बिल्कुल इसी तरह से earnings management होता है. Next one, financial manipulation. The accountants and the management manipulate data in such a way that whatever they want to show as their financial performance is being shown rather than what actually exists. Conflicts of interest between investors, stakeholder, and management leads them to breach entire thing and to convert the data to manipulate the data. Data breaches. You all might have at least once experienced, एक email आया, click किया, and your data is gone. This is an everyday thing when we experience, just click it and your data is gone. To the hackers, to the unauthorized users who use your data and to use your data to create fake things, fake accounts, and create fake messages out of them. So data breaches and privacy concerns are one of the most sensitive and serious issues to be dealt with when we talk about ethical challenges. When we talk about ethical breaches, I remember of a case study. Fake prescriptions दिखाकर एक आध बार छुट्टी तो ली ही होगी आपने, लेकिन ये बिजनेसमैन ने फेक बिल्स दिखाकर अपने इन्वेस्टर्स की छुट्टी कर दी. I'm talking about the time back in 2008 where India was not just going through a financial crisis, but was going through an ethical crisis. Yes, friends, I'm talking about one of the most famous scams, the Satyam scam. Back in 1987, when Ramalinga Raju created the company Satyam, after certain years, the revenue and profits started growing impressively. There was a growth of around 300%. ये उन्हें satisfactory नहीं लगा, इसलिए उन्होंने fake bills create करना शुरू किए. He started to create fake bills, fake bank accounts to increase the revenue and profits massively. And as per facts, he created about 7,561 fake bills. And through that, he started to withdraw his share of profit and created a company named Metas to buy real estate properties in Hyderabad. And after that, when he started to sell them in year 2008, the real estate prices had gone down due to the recession. And he had to admit that he had committed a crime of around 7,000 crores and he resigned. There is no one example, my friends. The list of such scams goes unending. आप मुझसे पूछेंगे इससे हमें क्या? We are the CAs of tomorrow. We should be a harmonious blend of technology and ethics. Data security and privacy. In the era where information is treated like a currency, our data needs to be safeguarded. We are not just number crunchers, but we are the guardians of clients' data. Professional skepticism, हम सबने audit में पढ़ा है. But it should not question just the numbers, but also question the algorithms that generate such numbers. Decision making should include transparency and ethical behavior. Regulatory compliance, just as I said, should operate and maintain financial landscape. We should be digitally literate and educated, and we should report with transparency and confidentiality. In conclusion, we are in this sector where our target is financial integrity, where our mission is financial integrity, and we should blend this equation of accounting, technology, and ethics to create financial integrity. So, as accountants, let's become the architect of trust. We ensure the algorithms of progress. Thank you so much.
सबको भूख लगी है ना? सबको खाना खाने जाना है ना? पर ये टेक्निकल सेशन है, रुको जरा, सब्र करो.
ये तो ये तो वैसा हो गया, कंफ्यूजन ही कंफ्यूजन है, सॉल्यूशन का पता नहीं, सॉल्यूशन जो मिला तो साला क्वेश्चन क्या ही पता नहीं।
दिल जो तेरा बात बात पे घबराए, दिल इडियट है प्यार से उसको समझा ले, तो होठ घुमा सिटी बजा के बोल भैया ऑल इज वेल।
We are in the profession of CA and while let's welcome our second captain Navya Mital for presenting paper on ethical challenges in financial reporting.
Companies having millions of turnover just came down, whether it being the Enron or the WorldCom. Their books were full of bogus reporting. That's why it's well said, ethics in financial reporting is the currency of credibility. Good morning to one and all present here. Today, I, Navya Mital, am there before you all to present my paper on ethical challenges in financial reporting. Ethics basically refers to knowing what is right and what is wrong. And financial reporting shows the financial status of an entity, whether it being through balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement, or any other. My dear friends, I have a question for you all. Who is responsible to make the financials of an entity? Is it the management, auditor, stakeholder, or any other? Any guesses? Yes, your guesses are right. It's the management who is responsible to make the financials. But when the duties of making and auditing mainly lies on the shoulders of management and auditors, it is of utmost importance to know all the obstacles that we may face in this journey so that we can innovate ourselves and pass through them with flying colors. Here are some glimpses of that. These two words, ethical challenges, are not the challenges. They are the choices. Choices you would have to make at each and every level, at each and every step of letting it be a hurdle or a step to innovation. Going through some of the cases that are commonly observed during my presentation, a balance sheet was signed, but when a search was conducted at the party's place, the data was shared through mail. But surprisingly, what we find that the cash balance in the financials and in the data that was shared do not match. The cash which closes at the end of each day and it's not matching. This shows that there was some manipulation and it is a clear-cut example of fraudulent financial reporting, which could have been done in 3 ways, whether it being the creative accounting, earnings management, or red traps. In the one, you are showing a better picture of the company than it actually is. And in the other, you are just increasing the actual revenue to meet the forecasted ones. And last but not the least, you are not showing the expenses, not showing the provisions just to make your books look better and not making proper disclosures. Another case that I have, a balance sheet was signed on 2nd of September, but the data was shared through mail on 15th of September. It's literally impractical to sign a balance sheet before even the data is shared. And these type of mistakes we should avoid because these mistakes are not mine, not yours. These are the mistakes by ICAI. Who will be blamed is ICAI, and we are the SS of it. SA 505 states that external confirmation of debtors and creditors should be there on a file. And these small provisions you would have to follow while carrying out your professional journey. When there is a huge data that you have to manage, it is very much imperative to know how to disclose, what to disclose, that too in brief covering all the information. And learning that art is great. But when you under-disclose or over-disclose the information, you tend to mislead others. When you are under-disclosing, you are not showing the information that's essential for others to take the decisions. And when you are over-disclosing, you are adding too much into the mug that it overflows. And people are not able to notice the loopholes, the blunders that were committed in the entity. We all love our independence, isn't it? Yes. And when we talk about the independence between the auditor and the entity, there are thousands and millions of stakeholders who rely on our reports. These financials are not just few pages. It's a biography of the company stating its present, past, future. So we should be independent, holding their reliability and holding their trust. Do not breach them. When we fail to follow our principles, scandals like WordCom scam are not too far away, in which the retained earnings were shown as revenue and operating expenses were capitalized just for the personal benefit of few. Now, just imagine you are going to an audit in a real estate company, and you have in-depth knowledge of Company Act, Income Tax Act. But would it be enough? Would it be enough for you to, when you are auditing a real estate company? Certainly not. It won't be, because you would have to have the knowledge of RERA, of Transfer of Property Act, ESIPF, guidance notes, and all the provisions that are included. And this raises the concept of competence and compliance of law. You need to be complied by each and every law, whether it being the domestic one or international one, whether it being the Ind AS, IFRS, or any other, whichever is applicable on the entity. And you need to have that ability that you can take the decisions in the toughest situations. You have those skills, you have the knowledge that make you competent to be called a right professional, and you are the asset of our ICAI. Point to be noted is that there can't be any common ground to provide services to all the entities. You need to have some knowledge of their business to provide the best of the services to them, to provide the things that they all need. AI has made our life so easier, isn't it? Just giving few commands and getting things done out of it. But one should not forget that confidentiality is something that we promise to our clients, and when we are using AI without giving a second thought, we are playing with the secrecy of the data, and we should be wise enough whenever we use it. Now, Enron scandal, one of the great examples which shook US, which shook in the world just due to some mistakes that were there. In Enron, mark-to-market approach was used. What was that? Whenever a new project was started, the earnings were recorded at the forecasted value, not the actual one. And the assets were recorded at the market value, not the book value, which led to a high rise in the income as well as in the assets, showing a better picture of the entity than it was. And when the projects do not show the income as expected, the assets were transferred to the SPV, that special purpose vehicles, also called SPE, special purpose entities. By that, they were able to gain the income out of it and not disclosing the losses. And second trick they played is that they were taking the loans in the name of SPV. That means that Enron's book was not having those losses, those debts, and there was overestimation of profit in books of Enron and under-disclosure of all the loans and losses. This led to a great rise in the share price of Enron, which led to the profits for those who wanted it. They just made a goodbye, declaring their bankruptcy, and filled their pocket with the money as by selling the shares at a high price. But surprisingly and very unfortunately, this wasn't possible just because of Enron. It was the joining of hands of both the Enron and the artisan firm that was providing the accounting services to them for so many years. This relationship led to a great blunder and gave us to a thought that what ethics need to be inculcated. Why we need ethics? It led to implementation of several laws, provisions. And let me tell you, if you are able to apply all laws, if you are competent enough, then you won't face these problems. But yes, if you are failing to, and your small mistakes may end up creating a great big mistake and big blunders. As I said earlier, these are not challenges. These are just the choices that you all and me have to make. And what's the solution? It lies in the problem itself. Just by being independent, having full disclosure, professional competence, skepticism, confidentiality, following all the principles of accounting and adhering to the code of conduct and all the provisions, principles that are required for being a perfect or not saying perfect, for being a good professional, that is very much essential. As a theme for the today's Arohan, we have to conquer the new horizons with integrity and innovation. So just innovate yourself, innovate for being a better person, innovate for being a better professional. And to conclude, I would just like to say, in everything you do, be wise and choose what's right. Thank you.
Thank you, Navya. Now I would like to request Vidisha for presenting paper on fine line between creative accounting and unethical practices.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. 4 plus 4 is equals to 8. Me plus yours is equals to fate. These are the cheesy lines used by company to persuade the stakeholders. So be aware. Now, not taking much of the time, as the preaching says, that real life example teaches us more than the definitions. So let's jump upon some good case studies. A very well-known coffee-making company, Starbucks, as we all know, earns its revenue through selling coffee and baked items. Starbucks is having a great craze among youngsters and is very successful, thus earning high profits. It also leads to heavy taxes. Thus, it promotes itself by giving away coupons, vouchers, and gift cards. Now, what shall we do to tax planning? What should we do to avoid taxes or to distort taxes over the period of time? Thus, the management of company strategically decided not to recognize the revenue immediately, but to recognize it over the period of time. It was also legible as per accounting standards, and thus this is what we call as creative accounting. Coming to another example, as the previous paper presenter said, WorldCom, a very big giant of America. It was very successful in telecom industry. People were very interested in investing into it. But suddenly, due to one or the other reasons, the WorldCom failed. The profits started declining. Now, the stakeholders will go away. What shall WorldCom do? Thus, it decided to capitalize all its operating expenses and overstate its assets by approx $10 billion. This led it to fraud. This was misleading. These were fraudulent activities, and thus the stakeholders were at loss. Now, they say, खार को खलासी तो एक कहवाय जे फणीदार नाग जेवा दरियामा उतरे. Thus, let's dive deep into the topics. According to Emmett, Blake, and Dot, creative accounting is when accountant uses his accounting skills to manipulate the data, but within the legal standards. Now, again, Kamal Nasir also quoted that creative accounting is distorting the figures of accounts, manipulating the figures of accounts, but within the legal boundaries, using the advantage, taking the advantage of legal standards, avoiding some or all of them. But you will say, why should we use creative accounting? We should be transparent. We should show true figure of the company. There are needs. So, first is manager's initiative. Top management of the company, they want to show themselves better than they actually are, and thus they use this technique. Second is valuation problem. Valuation problem is a big problem. International market uses fair value measurements, whereas we use historical cost measurements. Thus, we need this technique. Third is pressure from investors. Investors are gods of the company, and thus to attract and retain the investors, we need to use this technique. But what will be the impact on economy? This tax planning will impact the economy more because there is a direct linkage between the both. You will say, अब ये भी बता दो होता कैसे है? Window dressing is the first technique of creative accounting. Window dressing मतलब इसका उसका ना इसका है जाने कितना है किसका है कैसी भाषा में है लिखा. Let me explain it to you. showing short-term assets and liabilities as long-term and long-term as short-term. Sales and repurchases, distorting the revenue of one period to another period. This is what we call as window dressing. Coming to off-balance sheet financing. What is off-balance sheet financing? अगर window dressing नायक है, तो off-balance sheet financing खलनायक है. Yes, it is a pre-planned process of distorting the revenues. It is a pre-planned process of distorting the profits. Let me give you an example. The previous paper presenter also gave that example. I am a company. I want to show a good image of myself. So I create a special purpose entity. This entity and I, we both show to people that we are linked. And thus, you will see a good picture of me. But here, this company and me only do certain transactions. This company is not real. This is special purpose entity. This is what we call off-balance sheet financing. Coming to unethical practices. हाँ मैं गलत मेरी बातें, गलती से ही balance sheet बनी. Unethical practices is deception of stakeholders. You will ask me, what is deception of stakeholders? Let me explain it to you. Intentional deception of stakeholders means financial frauds. Overstating the assets, understating the liabilities, overstating the revenues and understating the expenses. This is what is financial fraud. जो दिखाना था वो तो दिखाया ही नहीं या फिर गलत दिखा दिया. That is not disclosing correct things, not giving correct reports. Insider training. Disclosing non-public information of company for personal gain and then trading in market and gaining from it is what we call as insider trading. Consequences. They say unethical practices are not just heavy rains, they are big tsunamis. Tsunamis which destroy many areas of the economy. Investor losses. सबसे पहले मरते investors हैं. Investors, they lose a lot. They trust the company. They give their funds to company. And what company do? They do frauds. And thus, investor is at big loss. Second, job losses. गलती कब तक छुपेगी? कभी ना कभी तो पकड़ी जाएगी. And thus, when caught, job losses happens. Poor people lose their jobs. So, there are regulatory reforms formed like Sarbanes-Oxley Act that prevents these happenings, that see that transparency is maintained. Subjectivity of distinction. हम, तुम, अलग है, फर्क है, फर्क है, फर्क है. Intent as a key factor. Intention plays a critical role here. My intention in creative accounting was to make a balance sheet according to my desire, to make a balance sheet that is attractive but within legal boundaries. Whereas in unethical practices, my intention was to harm the stakeholders for personal gains. Crucial role of transparency. Yes, transparency also plays a crucial role. When I do creative accounting, if I disclose transparently what have I done, then there is no issues. No one will put allegations on me. But if I am not transparent, my company will face many allegations. Third, and the most serious one, safeguards of disclosure. Disclosure is the biggest safeguard of the company. If you disclose all the assumptions and methodologies that you use, then you will be free. No one can catch you. But if you fail to disclose the information, then there are chances of allegations being put upon of you. Walking the fine line. Let me take example of Tesla. Tesla uses revenue recognition methods that helps it plan the revenue. But it plans everything legally. Still, there are critics in market. Critics are always going to criticize, but it explains everything to public in detail. It gives disclosures, and the safeguard of disclosures help it. It help it to prove that he is right. It help it to prove that people can trust him, and thus their Tesla wins. And here, I would like to tell something upon the last figure of my PPT. Cook a dish. Cook a dish that looks tasty and is decorative, but make sure it's healthy. And I would like to say, make a book of accounts. Make a book of accounts that is desirable, it looks attractive, but make sure it's correct, it's true and fair. As we sitting here are going to sign upon it, and people are going to trust us. Thank you.
Thank you, Vidhi. Now I'd like to request Mr. Dhruv Agrawal for presenting his views on professional integrity and client relations.
A very good afternoon to all of you, all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, all the jury members, and all the future chartered accountants. Let me talk firstly about my topic, that is professional integrity and the client relations. See, all of us being a chartered accountants or the future chartered accountants, professional integrity as well as the client relation, both the topics are very important in our life. So firstly, the most important thing for all of is the professional integrity and the ethics and the code of ethics. So let's start with the presentation. That's our topic firstly is the professional integrity as well as the client relations. Being a professional, we have to maintain the professional integrity. Firstly, what is the professional integrity? So with the word professional integrity, it is just doing a right thing in a reliable way. We have to present our work, we have to do our work in a very simple way, or you can say in a very professional way with the ethics, not with the unethical ways. On the other side, doing a professional integrity, you can say professional integrity refers to the honesty of your work. As a chartered accountant, as a future chartered accountants, as articles of the firm, we have to maintain our professionality and the truthfulness in our work. So that's one of the biggest factor for the professional integrity. On the third side, it is a quantity of being honest as well as the transparent for your work on all the sides. Now let's move towards what is the client relation. Client relations, you can say it is a methodology of establishing the relation with your clients. See, sometimes what happens, your client only knows about your work, doesn't know about you. So for that, you have to maintain a proper relation with your client, having your work and with their business ideas and for all the laws and the regulations. Professional invests in a client. It's a practical example from my life. One of the clients comes to our office and she said to our principal that your behavior is very much friendly and it's a very common for all of clients. But my principal replied that it is not just because of maintaining the clients, it is all about the retaining the clients as well as not for the coming with the new clients. So client relation is one of the most factor for all of us. The third thing is the key elements of the professional integrity. There are the only three main topics. There are the main three key points for key elements of the professional integrity. The first one is the honesty. Being a chartered accountant, being a professional, not only for the chartered accountants, but all the professionals, we have to honest with our work, we have to honest with our clients. Sometimes what happens is the clients are happy with the work, but not with our doing a methodology work. Second is transparency, and the third one is the accountability. These two things are the most important for the staff as well as the professionals who are dealing with the clients. The third thing is honesty. Let's discuss about the honesty. Honesty, as we discussed, the honesty is the most important thing for a professional, having in his work or her work with the client or with the staff or with the laws and the regulations. The next thing I want to say that a professional have to always choose a path of honesty as well as the integrity rather than choosing other paths. You can say an example of providing accurate information, admitting mistakes and all the other things having for your transparent work and honesty. Second thing is the transparency, having a transparent work, having a clarity in your actions. Having decision and a communication clarity is the most important thing for the professionals. Building a trust with the clients with your work is the most important thing. Clear communication and goals sharing with your clients and your teams and all the stakeholders of the firm is one of the best example for the transparency. The third thing is accountability. What does accountability means? Accountability means that taking a responsibility for the work, taking a responsibility for the work of your team. Taking a responsibility of one's action or doing in your team. The best example for that is if someone is made a mistake in your team doing your work with you, then you have to be responsible for that. You have to be the person answering to the clients for all the things because you have trained them. Let's move to the next topic. That is the pillars of the professional integrity, the main 4 pillars on the basis of professional integrity creates ethical decision making. The next one is the confidentiality and privacy. The third one, and the most important, is compliant with the laws and the regulation. Being a chartered accountant, being the professional, we have to maintain the compliance with the laws and the regulation. And the last but the not least one, adherence to the code of conduct, adherence to the professional ethics. The next thing for the professionals or client relation, we have to building a trust with the clients. Building a trust with the clients, you can make with the communication, transparency, consistency, as well as the ethical behavior with all of the clients as well as on your teamwork. And the last one was the personal connection with the clients. You see, personal connection with the clients is the most important thing, because if you have a personal connection with the clients, they will meet you not for only work, but because of your personal connection with them. Another thing for the topic is your clients. The third is a long-term relationship, and the fourth one is ethical decision making. For ethical decision making, we have a small discussion on that. Ethical decision making framework, like identify the problem. What's the problem with your clients? What's the problem regarding to the business ideas? Next is we have to collect the facts for that. What is going on the basis for that problem? Third is we have to explore all the options. Firstly, what is the problem? Second, what are the solution? What are the options for that? After that, we have to check the options, whether option A is very proper or option B is very correct. On the basis of that, we can make a proper decision for our professional ethics as well as our client relations. Common challenges in client relations. The first one is the communication breakdown. The second one is building trust. The third one, problem resolution, as well as the fourth one is the unmet expectation. I have one funny real life example for the unmet expectation. See what happened with our client. There was a consecutive 4-5 months, there was outward tax liability was more than the ITC. So he have to make the payments for that. On the 5th month, what he told us, I will not pay tax. आपको जो करना है करो, मैं टैक्स नहीं भरने वाला भाई. 4-5 महीने से टैक्स भर रहा हूँ, ये थोड़ी ना चलता है. हर बार आप आईडीटी के नाम पे टैक्स भरवाते हो मेरे से. So what my principal does, he told him that your cost is 80 rupees, 20 rupees your profit, and 18 rupees you are charging IDT from the consumer. It is not out of your pocket. Still he was like, હું તો ના પે કરું, તમે જે કરવું હોય કરો, હું પે નહીં કરું ભાઈ. આ 4th-5મી વખત તમે આવું કર્યું માર જોડે. So that's the unmet expectation from the clients. Let's talk about the legal and ethical consideration. This is the very biggest thing for all the professional like us. The legal and ethical decisions which we have to make for the client's business as well as regarding the laws and regulations are the paramount. These are the various aspects of the business. Here are some aspects for that. The first one is compliance with laws and the regulation. As we saw previous slide on the ethical consideration, there was a point of the laws and regulations. The second one is data protection and the privacy. Data protection with the privacy of clients' entire data, whether it is a books of accounts, whether it is an audit report, and all the things that should be protected with the privacy. The third one is conflict of interest, and the fourth is the transparency and honesty. Let's talk about best practices for the confidentiality. Maintaining confidentiality is the very important thing for all the professionals. Having a client relation with the biggest with your professional integrity is the most important thing. First one is the clear policies and the procedures. Second is training and awareness. Third is secure storage. And the fourth is the secure communication challenges. Now the thing is that we have to talk about regular ethics and training. See, articles will get that from the principals, from the trainings. So it is the very important also for the articles of the firm. So regular ethics and trainings are very important on before going the statutory audits, stock audits, and client place visits, and etc. Some key points let's talk about. The first one is frequency of the training. The second is on-board training, and third one is interactive training method. Interactive training method helps a lot for the regular ethics and training. With this, I would like to conclude my presentation to all the jury members as well as all of you. Thank you very much for being such audience and being a great listeners. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to invite Asma Taj for presenting his paper.
Respective dignitaries, the organizers, and my very lovely audiences, Assalamu alaikum and very good noon. I am Asma Taj here representing today Institute of Chartered Accountants, Bangladesh. Since my very childhood, I have seen inequality. Inequality in terms of position, inequality in terms of what they have and what I had. So, since very childhood, I have wondered why there is inequality sustaining. And to my surprise, as I grew older, I found that it is the ethics and integrity within the human being that makes the difference and that leads to ultimate inequality. Well, when I grew up, I decided to choose a profession where I could be in the pinnacle of my career. So I wondered, will I be able to reach the pinnacle of my career and at the same time uphold integrity and ethics? Well, striving for reaching the pinnacle of my career and at the same time to ensure integrity and ethics, I chose to be a chartered accountant, and hence here I am in the journey of it. Well, that's why I chose to present today the topic, the fine line creative accounting versus unethical practices. Well, we all know that this is an era of innovation and this is an era of change. Without embracing innovation and changes, we cannot survive in this era, right? Well, we the professional accountants especially need to embrace innovation and changes. Can you imagine without embracing innovation and changes at the same time upholding integrity and ethics, where the professional accountants will be? Well, definitely they will be in the museum if they do not embrace innovation and changes and uphold integrity and ethics. Well, today I would like to highlight why we need to understand the fine line in between creative accounting and unethical practices. We are the accounting professionals and we are the financial stewards. We need to uphold the profession and hence we need to refrain ourselves from unethical practices, and if it is in the form of creative accounting also. Well, some of us here are professional accountants, some of us here are almost professional accountants, and many of us here will be professional accountants, right? So, will we ever compromise our professional code of ethics to reach the pinnacle of our career? Definitely this is a no, right? It is the ethical aspect of this profession that makes us so valuable, right? So, when we perform audit, we must ensure that we are abiding by the professional code of ethics. But nearing future, we will be joining a company where we will be working in the Department of Financial Management and in top management positions. So, besides performing the accounting tasks, what else we need to do? We definitely need to ensure that we are performing really very well. Without performing really very well, how can we get promoted, right? To get promoted, we need to ensure that we are performing really very well. So, what are the measures of better performance? The measures of better performance are increase in profits, decrease in expenses, there is stability in assets so that a company can have a best share market price. Well, to imagine a situation where a company is not in a position to show that the profit is increasing or the expenses are decreasing or they have stable asset and liability position so that they can have a proper market share. So what they will do in this situation, they have two options. One is to go for creative accounting, another is to choose unethical practices. Well, what is creative accounting? Creative accounting in lump sum, it is many says that creative accounting is to cook the books in a way that they do not break the laws and regulations. To speak more formally, creative accounting is to look for loopholes in accounting standards, laws and regulations, at the same time highlight the image of a company. It intends to highlight the image of a company in a way that does not break the rules and regulations, but the intention is different. Here, in judging the creative accounting, we need to identify what is the intention. Well, I would like to ask a question. Do you know, is creative accounting unethical? Can anyone respond? Is creative accounting unethical? Well, I know why you are not responding, because it is very difficult to answer in one line that creative accounting is ethical. Again, it is very difficult to answer that creative accounting is unethical. So let's see a few scenarios to identify what is it. For instance, a company is keeping excess provision for expenses. So why the company is keeping excess provisions? The intention could be to get tax benefits. So here the interest of government is being compromised. So in that sense, we can see that one party is getting harmed because of the intention of the management by keeping the excess provision. So here we can say that this type of creative accounting treatments are unethical definitely. Again, let's consider another scenario. First, say a company has kept a huge provision previous year. As with the accounting provisions, we know that a company needs to reverse the excess provisions by the year end or by the next year. But if the company reverses the excessive provision, then it will highlight the excess profit, right? But it is not due to the increase in the performance or decrease in the expenses during the year that led to the increase in profit. In this way, profit will be highlighted. So here what the management needs to do, or the regular practice is, they inflate the provisions, and in this way they do not they do not exaggerate the profit of a company. So it is really, we cannot say that this kind of practices are unethical, because if they do not reverse the provisions slowly, it will highlight the profit of the company unnecessarily, it will increase the share price unnecessarily, which is not the proper representation of financial reporting, right? So we can say that creative accounting can be both ethical and unethical given the situation where it is which party of which stakeholder is being harmed or not. If it is saving the right of the stakeholders, then we can say it is a good thing. If it is compromising the right of the stakeholders, then we can say it is a bad thing. Most of the times it is for the manipulation and exaggerating the financial position of a company. So mostly consider that it is a kind of unethical practice. So now let's dig into the unethical practice. Well, unethical practice is something that compromises the laws and regulations and standards. It intends to manipulate the financial reporting in a way that represents a better picture of a company. So here we can see that the intention of both creative accounting and unethical practice is to highlight the image of a company, right? So what's the difference between them? Well, as per my understanding, the difference is that there is spirit. The spirit of creative accounting is not to break the laws and regulations while exaggerating the image of an entity. On the other hand, the unethical practices spirit is to break the rules and regulations and laws. Mostly, unethical practices lead to frauds. We have seen, we the business professionals and students know about the cases of Enron, WorldCom, Satyam. These all, the scandals were just because of the creative accounting, right? So, here it is very difficult to conclude that creative accounting is a good thing. Well, I would like to say that creative accounting can be both ethical and unethical, but unethical is unethical, we know that. So, the accounting profession demands a high level of ethics and integrity. We, the accountants, are the financial stewards, need to ensure that financial statements are accurately reported so that we can uphold the ethical standards, we can maintain transparency, we can ensure the stakeholder trust, we can mitigate the risk in order to sustain. And we need to definitely refrain from practicing unethical measures or utilizing creative accounting in a way that raises a question to our profession, so that we can raise to the horizon of accounting with innovation and integrity. That's all from my today. Thank you for your kind patience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey Akshay, I have some few words for CA. I see you as my aspiration, you test my desperation, you my hope for income and respect that I want from some. They call you CA, I call you my bae. They call you CA, I call you my bae. So guys, we have within us a delegate from Bangladesh whose name is Ratul Chaudhary, who would like to share his views. I would like to request Mr. Ratul Chaudhary to come on stage.
Kem cho bada majama? I didn't hear. Kem cho bada majama? So I feel really honored and overwhelmed to be among you guys. So I have attended most of the sessions and I found all of the topics very rich in its way. So I want to talk about few things. Before that, I want to talk about the startups. As we all know, the startups is the birthplace. The word, the startup, is the birthplace in India itself. India has created so many unicorns in startups. So in today's dynamic business landscape, the startup is considered as one of the strongest and important catalysts in the global economics. It's because of the innovation, disruption, and transformation features of the startups. So standing out from the crowd is never a luxury these days. It's a necessary thing. So uniqueness is not a mere buzzword, it's a cornerstone of the success. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all about the startup. So I have been asked, sir, what was the difference between the startup and any other businesses? It's a simple thing. That is, the traditional businesses and any other businesses are bound with certain limitations. It's because they have to take care of their stakeholders, of their certain group of people who are related to it. So they can't take much risk just to ensure continuous growth. But in the case of startup businesses, we have seen the risk rate is 100 or 0. But any other businesses, they mostly engage themselves in calculated risks. So that results in certain and calculated returns. But with these certain returns, you can't expect a nation to run fruitfully. So you need some catalyst to boom its economies, right? So we, the youth are the future. We are unmatchable in creation, innovations. So I want to end my speech one thing. One of the warrior back in China's, in BC areas, he told one thing. That's it. That is, if you sweat in the time of peace more, you bleed less in the time of war. So my friends, work hard and make your hard work worth. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ratul. Now, I would like to request our delegate from Sri Lanka, Mr. Angelo Fernando, to facilitate our jury for the session. I would like to request our jury for the session, CA Dr. Vanil Shah sir and CA Niran Nagri sir, to come on the stage. Now I would like to request Anjali Choksey madam, chairwoman of ICAI Ahmedabad, and Sunil Sanghvi sir, vice chairperson of ICAI Ahmedabad, to facilitate our paper presenter. First paper presenter is Dishaa Balani. Miss Vidisha. Mr. Dhruv Agrawal. Miss Asma Taj. I would like to request Miss Saivisha to present his vote of thanks.
As it is rightly said, every ending is a new beginning. I hope from this session you learned something new. At the end, I would like to thank to Anjali ma'am, Sunil sir, and all our paper presenters for sharing their knowledge, and my lovely audience for having patience to listen to them. And at the end, I would like to share a शायरी. छोटी सी जिंदगी में ख्वाब कई बुने हैं, इस रंग मंच पे हमें किरदार कई निभाने हैं. दो लफ्ज़ों के शब्दों के लिए करना परिश्रम कहीं ज़्यादा है, पर सीए बन के पूरी दुनिया को मुट्ठी में करने का हमारा इरादा है. पर सीए बन के पूरी दुनिया को मुट्ठी में करने का इरादा है. थैंक यू सो मच.